So let's get to the crux of the presentation. So what does a data professional do? Now, historically, a data professional would have typically been someone who brings a structured approach to solving problems using data while maintaining the curiosity to ask the why behind the numbers. Okay, so these would have included roles like data analyst, business intelligence developer, database administrator, data architect, or modeler. And we're talking what 25, 30 years ago. These were sort of a limited set of roles that were in the data space. However, what's happened now is that the data landscape has drastically changed, especially in the last 2 decades, because of big data, machine learning, AI, and ethics. And some of what has changed is the explosion of unstructured data. So historically, a lot of data that was collected by organizations was structured. Now, a lot of the data that's collected digitally is unstructured, everything from social media posts to documents to chat on Teams, on Slack. All of that data is now accessible and can be analyzed. The other thing that's happened that's allowed this migration is from on-premise to cloud. So essentially, 3 decades ago, all data was stored in like physical servers in someone's building, in a company's building. Now it's cloud first, so it's on data centers, and organizations now just rent the servers rather than have them on their own premises and maintaining them. There's been a rise of real-time versus batch data. So a lot of data now is streamed, and so people are using that data to inform real-time decision-making. The use of APIs, so the ability to connect to data sources, and I'll talk about it later and how it looks like. The democratization and self-service of BI. So now business users are using more self-reporting. Before, business intelligence developers would have done the report for them. Now businesses themselves, the business user, so whether you're in marketing or finance or in product, you can run reports yourself because of the way democratization of data has happened. And then obviously now the recent shift from analytics to generative AI. So data is now used to actually formulate content and text rather than just analyze numbers. So one of the reasons these new roles in data have emerged and have flourished is because of the modern data landscape. Now, if we talk from left to right, what you end up now is that there are many data sources now. Okay, and I've just listed a sample, but we've got things like smart cars, we've got smart watches, we've got CCTV. There's so many data sources now, and what happens is that those data sources are now easy to ingest. So they've been designed so that you can extract the data. Historically, systems were very closed. It was very hard to get access to the data. Now they're designed for that data to be accessible, and so things like data pipelines would have been built to address those issues. So things like data pipelines here. You then had then the next thing that happened was cloud platforms. So you had this chunk of work here. So you had cloud platforms where data was easily ingested and stored, and you would have heard things like Microsoft Azure. You would have heard of things like Amazon AWS, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and then that data would then either have been stored in traditional data warehousing or would have been stored in data lakes. Okay, so that's where that data is then accessible, and then what you end up with is data being stored into actual structured data. Not all data that's analyzed is structured, but you still need an element of structured data. And then finally, you had query tools, things that would query the data. So things like Python and R can not only query structured data, they can also query unstructured data. You've got Power BI, Tableau that do need very structured data. MySQL, SQL Server is very structured. But then you've got data feeding straight into AI systems, right? So you've got the ability for data to be fed from these systems straight into things like websites. So things like recommendation engines, things like personalization, they are powered by data. So whenever you open up your social media feed, you're getting some personalized recommendation that's being data fed to you. And more recently, we've now got this AI component of data where the raw source of data is needed for these generative and agentic AI systems to operate. Okay, so that's like the modern data platform. It's very simplified. It's much more complicated. There's more technologies involved. But the reason I wanted to show you this is because then you can see where roles fit in.